My name is Cindy Rush, and I'm John's mom. John was born on January 26, 1983. Our second child, 7 years between him and his sister Susie. He was a real big surprise, and when I was pregnant, his dad told me that he wouldn't mind having another little girl because Susie was so wonderful, but if I had a little boy, he wanted him to be a big boy, a strong boy, and not some sniveling crybaby, runny-nosed little kid, and he got his wish. His sister was thrilled over him. She always thought she wanted a little brother rather than a little sister because he'd have neater toys. She used to play with him all the time and try and lug him around, but it was pretty hard for little skinny Susie to lug this big moose of a kid around. Even though they get on each other's nerves, they are each other's best backups, best friends. John, from age 2 up, was crazy about airplanes. You give him an airplane, give him a picture of an airplane, and he was in seventh heaven. The other thing was he always wanted to be a soldier. He wanted to change his name to G.I. John. He was in a lot of sports at school. He was really good at baseball. He could really whop that ball. His daddy, Paul, was one of the assistant coaches in the Cub Scout baseball team. He always had a baseball hat on. I used to have to make him take it off at supper, to take a bath, to go to bed. He still is a nut about baseball. Both went to St. Charles Borromeo all through grade school. Nice, small, little Catholic school. He's always hanging out with his grandpa, Mike, and his grandma Ruth, even taking trips with them. John entertained us by singing in the car, which he doesn't do well and very off-key and makes up his own words, just like his daddy used to. John was the baby brother of not only his sister, but also of his cousin Mandy. They hung out together a lot. They went trick-or-treating together with Paul. Paul would take all 3 kids and go around the block, and he'd keep asking people what the Packers score was. He would take all his cousins when they were in town, and he'd take them, line them up in the kitchen, and make them macaroni and cheese. He's also good at posing for pictures. Some of these pictures, yeah, he has posed, and you guys will all get a big kick out of him because you put a camera in front of him and he'll do something silly. And went on to Pius High School. At Pius, through a teacher, through their work-study program, got him into the aviation business, and he worked for Johnson Controls in their private hangar, part-time. He got to be doing what he's always wanted to do. He's always known what he wanted to do his whole life, and he is doing that.
Mike and Ruth Joyce, grandparents of John, grandson.
Hi. I want to tell you a story about how John and Lindsay met. I was in the South Point Rehabilitation Center and after I had heart surgery. Lindsay was doing her clinicals to learn her trade of physical therapy, and she turned out to be my physical therapist. And we used to talk as I was doing the therapy, and I found out that she seemed to be a very nice girl, well brought up, church-going girl, and I started telling her about my grandson. It seemed like they would make a good couple. I told her how John was kind of a shy boy, and he didn't go out with many girls in his whole life, and I'm sure he likes to talk on email. And he's out there in Colorado as an airplane mechanic. And why don't you call him, you know? And so I gave her all the facts about how to get him, and she got him on the computer that night. And she come back the next day, and she was all excited. You know, she seemed to like what she heard. So they started talking to each other on email every night, and the first thing you know, John got on an airplane, came back here, and they went out on a date, and it started moving pretty fast then. And she took him up to Clintonville, where she was from, a country girl, and she introduced him to her parents, and they seemed to click it off real good there too. They even had him cut the grass on the roof. It didn't take him long before he decided he was going to move back to Milwaukee, so he could be close to her and have a lot of dates. And so he did, and it just grew and grew from there. First thing you know, he proposed to her in Cathedral Square amongst the Christmas decorations, and she immediately accepted him, and the plans went for a wedding. And so we're happy to have her in the family, and it looks like they'll be a good couple. That's about it.
And we wish him the best of luck and lots of happiness.
Just hug Grandpa Mike for his foresight into, seeing that his grandson and Lindsay probably, would make a wonderful couple. And I have to agree. I have to thank him so much, because John's such a wonderful young man.
Thanks you, Dad. They make a wonderful couple together. They seem like they get along well together. It seems like they're going to take care of each other well together. Welcome to the family, Lindsay. You both have a wonderful life.
Love was made for me and you. Love was made for me and you. Love was made for me and you.
Marker, 17, take 4.
Maybe someday there'll be granddaughters that we can do 3-generation trip. Hint, hint. You're probably going to kill me now, Lindsay.
We have a number of pictures of John's back side, because John was always bending over and butt crack always showed. So we've always taken pictures of him, and Susie and I always wanted to make a collage of him for his wedding day.